Hey guys,
Welcome back to Forward Farming.
how
Yep,
are ya?
I'm great. I'm just laughing at the fact that earlier today we were like, okay, this is going to be kind of a short and sweet episode. We're going to get to the goods and be done because we both have things to do. And then we just talk for what, 10 minutes
10 minutes.
about a microphone.
Yep.
That's minor. Okay, you're frozen, so I don't even know if you're talking right now, but I'm going to keep talking. Tonight's episode, or today's episode, I should say. Are you there? Hi. Were you talking or was I?
Yeah, can we just start over?
Yeah. It's fine. Okay, take two.
This might be the first time I have to edit a video.
I wouldn't even edit it. Let the people.
It was just froze and I'm talking and then all of a sudden I see you're not moving. I was like, oh.
Oh, and I was talking at the same time, so I wonder how cool the audio will sound. Anyways,
There's Porter in the background.
I was just trying to say that today's episode is gonna be short and sweet because we are gonna talk about water use on the farm and how we recycle it and stuff like that. So there's only so much you can say about that, I feel without blabbing on, which we're really good at doing. But I think it'd be fun before we get into that, instead of doing a update where we get sidetracked and talk for 20 minutes. I thought it would be fun to just bring back the highs and lows. Do a high and low really quick.
Yeah, which one do you want to start with? High or low?
Let's just start off with the lows. Get them out of there.
Oh my God, my child has just been a little demonic tornado. I don't know what's going on, but this last week has just.
Is there a full moon? I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know if Mercury's in retrograde, if he's getting teeth, but I decided that Friday of this last week would have been the perfect day to start potty training when he's already in this mood. It lasted a day. And then we just had stuff going on over the weekend, so it was poor planning on my part. But if you hear him screaming, it is. But he's so big that he's outgrowing size 6 diapers right now. He's on the cusp of being in pull-ups because that's the next size up. So I figured since we're there already, why not just give it a shot and see what happens? He did 2 half pees in the potty. He started peeing and I had to run and grab him and plop him on. And then he finished peeing in the potty, but I don't know if he knew what was going on, but he just enjoyed getting a free ride and running around naked for a little while.
Why are you carrying me while I'm trying to pee?
What's going on? I got him 2 packs of training underpants. I didn't even know those were a thing, but they are. And I should start. I'm keeping this short and sweet. I did zero research on this per usual. So when I found out these were a thing, I'm like, whoa, this is so cool. And I put them on and literally 2 seconds later, he starts peeing in them, which I should have expected. So he's just standing there looking down what is happening? But he would stand up in the bathtub and he just started peeing and he'd put his hands on his hips and just start spinning and watching it go. So I was like, maybe you kind of have an idea of what's going on if you're making a game out of it in the bathtub. So other than that, that's kind of my low. How about yours?
I will say, just a side note, Pampers Cruisers, the 360, they do have size 7.
Do they?
Yeah. They're basically a pull-up. That's what Jack uses. He's in size 6, but they're it's basically a pull-up because it's really hard to get diapers on children and toddlers, So yeah, we've been using those for a while. He doesn't leak through them or anything, but that was just a side note. My low for this week is that I have been getting sinus headaches every single afternoon. And it's so annoying because I take Claritin every day. So I think when I run out of my Claritin, I'm going to switch it up and try a different allergy medicine. But yeah, it's the same side of my face every single day. It gets clogged up. I have some nasty stuff that comes out. I have to massage it and stuff, and I get a terrible headache. I take ibuprofen and it kind of feels better, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it go away.
Have you tried a neti pot?
Ooh. I don't own one, but I do have a nasal spray. I don't enjoy them, but I suppose I could try it.
Yeah, you should try a neti pot. I don't like them either, but
If it
if it's just on
works.
one side, I wonder if that would work. Or
Yeah,
get
it's
one where it
just
like pushes water in and then sucks it out at the same time. That'd be kind of fun.
I don't know about that. I don't know. So I just like I asked about it on Instagram. People just said like make sure you're drinking like a lot of water and stuff like that, which I have been. So that's kind of why it's annoying. I'm like, why do I still have this? But I don't know. I'm thinking maybe I just need to maybe my body's used to Claritin by now, and
Yeah,
it's just
maybe
weird that it's
try.
like only in the afternoons.
That is weird. I wonder if it's like part allergies too, with all there's a lot of pollen with how dry
Hmm.
it's been. I wonder if you like switch to Allegra or something, if that would make a difference.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that once I like don't want to waste my Claritin because I'm just not a wasteful person. But I might just try out a different kind, see if it works. Anyways, enough about my nasal passages. What's your high for the week?
My dad had his knee surgery last week and that went well.
Good.
Um,
Is he bored
so
yet?
he had therapy today. I think this is like his third therapy session. And I think it's a very humbling experience for him. Like he went through therapy last year after he fell off the roof and broke his arm. So I think he's kind of used to it, but I think this is a totally different experience for him. So it's like putting him in line a little bit more. But kind of. He's still driving around every day with my mom. Does
Oh,
a hot
good.
lap around the marsh and stuff and sees what's going on. So he has a lot to think about, at least. So he's keeping up with stuff. But he walked over to our house this weekend already,
Wow.
like with a with a cane, and he just hobbled over here and sat down and chit chatted, and then hobbled back home, which was pretty impressive. So
I think it's good for
all good.
for them like to get moving right away. Like I've always heard that like the faster
Yeah,
you get moving, like the faster your recovery will be.
yeah. My grandma had her knee done over like Christmas break, and they sent her home the same day, like which is crazy.
I mean, no offense that she's like older, but
Yeah, she's 80, 82.
wow.
But yeah, she had an early morning surgery. They had her up by like noon, and then they did their first therapy session, and they're like, yeah, you're fine, go home. And then she just kept up with therapy like 3 times a week, and it was like a 6 week recovery. I think that she had to do therapy, and she's good.
Good.
So
Well, I'm
yeah.
sure too that goes to show like the advances in like medical because I assume, well, I guess I don't know what the knee replacement if they have to open the entire kneecap up or like how they do that, but like when I had knee surgery in high school it was just three little slits and
Mm-hmm.
boom bam boom like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, keep her moving. What's your
We need like a little stopwatch like your time's up. Let's see. My high. I had it before we even started.
You took notes for the rest of the episode, but the
The one thing that I said, oh, the kids are trying to break in. I locked them out.
for
Bye,
you.
buddy. Okay. I think my high is going to be. I don't want to say how clean my house is because it's not that clean, but I have been painting my cabinets, the kitchen cabinets, not cabinets, counters. And I I bought like this marble, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I bought like a marble kit from Menards and it looks nothing like marble, but it does look kind of cool. Like I do
Does.
enjoy it. So I have one more countertop to do with it, but I just feel like ever since I did that, I'm like so paranoid of keeping everything clean and stuff. And it's just been kind of nice because like my kitchen is clean now and I don't know, hopefully I can keep it up, but yeah, that's gonna be my high. That my kitchen is almost done and it's clean. And I'm like getting a little ADD making sure that it's clean. Oh, you're frozen again.
You froze. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's
Look at
you
him.
or if it's me. Maybe it's just the universe's sign to tell us to keep her moving.
Keep her moving. Okay. Well, there's our highs and lows. I think, yeah, that's great. So let's get into water, hey?
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, I think obviously agriculture uses up a lot of water, There's a lot of needs for it. And I think that, I don't want to say activists, but that's just something that activists in the media tend to drag us under the mud for, is our use of water. But what they aren't talking about is how we recycle our water, and how what's the word? We're like responsible with our water we are. I think that's a good word to put it. So I guess I don't know if you want to start with kind of just sharing. Obviously, cranberries are not grown in the water, but you use a ton of water for harvest and irrigation and stuff like that. So if you just want to go into like how you guys are recycling it.
Yeah, this is the one topic where people will this is like a huge misconception that, I don't know if you want to call them activists, I'm just going to say uneducated folks will come up and kind of chew me out, especially if I'm doing a public event. It's not so much on social media, but it's like in-person events where people will come up to me and just like yell at me for how wasteful of an industry we are. And it's like, okay, where are you getting this information from? Because clearly it's not from a proper source. And then anyway, we kind of I break it down for them. So yeah, we do use a lot of water all year round. And we have to keep track of all the water we use. I have to fill out a water report for the DNR every single year. I think like in February, I have to send that in. So basically, we have to do math to figure out how much water our sprinklers are putting out when we irrigate, based on like the size of the nozzle, based off the size of our engines that are pumping the water through the irrigation lines. So we have to figure out like specifically how much water per second is being used for irrigation. And then we keep track of how long we irrigate for every single day. And all that gets written down into a formula at the end of the year. And then we have to figure out how much water is being used when we harvest. So again, we have a formula that breaks down how much water is being pushed in through the pipes when we start flooding for harvest and for winter flooding. So we know like how much gallons per square foot we're using. Like it's very precise. And we keep that all together in our records, and every year we have to send this in, and we keep track every single year how much we're using. But so how we use it. So we're in a marsh. So we have a very high water table naturally, which is very great for cranberries. So we have lots of ponds or reservoirs, whatever you want to call them, scattered throughout our property. And all of those reservoirs are connected to a ditch, like a larger ditch. And those larger ditches are all connected to the beds where the cranberries are grown. So everything is just kind of made in a big loop, basically. So every ounce of water that is pulled from a pond that gets put into the cranberry bed, the sand is even an extra filtration system in the cranberries where they're grown. So when the water is getting filtered through the vines, and any water that's run off during irrigation gets soaked back through the vines. They're filtered through the vines, or filtered through the sand again, and then it returns to groundwater. Or if we're using a lot of water, it goes into the ditches, and then it just kind of loops right back into the larger ditches, and then that gets pushed back into the ponds where they came from. So it's literally just like a continuous loop. So the water is cleaner after we use it because of the soil that we're using, and in the drain tile and all of that stuff is extra filtration. So it's literally just being continuously looped through. And the second we're done using it, the second it goes right back in. So there's not a lot that we're there. Like our industry is, Ocean Spray was the first big co-op to be 100% sustainable throughout the all growers, all 700 growers that are part of Ocean Spray. Every single one of us is 100% sustainable. And that was the first big like ag industry to be recognized for that. So on like everything we use is being reused one way, shape, or form. And I think that's why there's so many growers that are on their 4th, 5th, 6th, 10th generation, is because we are such good stewards of the land and everything. There's so much research and science that goes into this that keeps us being able to produce the same crop year after year and make it bigger and better every single year without wasting the land and destroying it. So in a nutshell, everything gets looped back through and just recycled. That's kind of our motto. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Golf claps.
I'm clapping for you. Snaps for
Thank
Amber.
You. Snaps.
I found this number online and I can't find what year it's from, so like I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it states that the United States uses 587.76 million gallons of recycled water per day for ag irrigation.
Wow.
Which is, I mean, that's crazy. We do not irrigate a lot around here. It's just our like climate and area. We don't have to, but I know out west they do a lot. So I guess I don't want to speak on irrigation by any means, but I do know just from what I've learned on social media that it's kind of like you, like they have to keep track of the water they're using. Some people are, they only have a certain amount that they can use for irrigation stuff. So that gets scary too. And that's gotta be so stressful, like with the drought and stuff, because if you're not getting rain and you used all of your water for the year, or however that works, I mean, you're just, you're praying for the best and hoping that you have good insurance, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's one thing that we are so fortunate to have. I mean, we use water for irrigation. We use it during drought. We use it when it's cold. We use it for frost protection. We use it for so many different things. And because we are so lucky to have a high water table out here, it's I don't want to say we have like unlimited supply, but you know, right now we're going through this drought. It like sprinkled today and it hasn't rained like a good rain in almost like a month, I think. So our ponds levels are dropping a lot. We're starting to see sandbars out there that I haven't seen in a really long time. But because we have so many marshes surrounding us as well, all of our ponds are connected too. So if like our neighbor down the way, like anytime we're using a lot of water and like moving water around, we have to let our neighbors know like, hey, we're pushing this into like our shared pond, just as a heads up, so you can move your water around and like push it down towards the neighbors. And all of our water is basically coming from one little creek that is along our property line, and that feeds like miles of marshes down the way. So it's all starting from one central location and feeding so many other properties as well. So it's nuts. So if anything ever happened to that creek, like we'd all be SOL. But yeah, like it's not fun right now because you're just watching the pond levels just drop every single day because you're having to irrigate more. And you know that uses so many gallons of water, and just watching it drop with no real end in sight is a kind of a scary feeling, because it's like, yeah, like you were saying, like you only have an allotted amount of water that you can use for the year, and if you run out, like what do you do? You need that water. So do you? I don't know. That's a fun part of farming.
Yeah, irrigation for you is one thing. But if you ran out of water, theoretically, how would you harvest? Has that ever happened to anyone? Knock on wood.
No, knock on wood. I mean, there are
figure it out, but
yeah. I mean, there you can hand rake. It would just take
a lot longer.
a lot longer. And I don't think there's enough hand rakes available for it to be an option. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I don't know if that's ever been a thought.
I don't know. Yeah, that's, I mean, like, yeah, that's weird. I mean, I feel like you'd probably be better off if you just found water, even if you had to like buy it from someone and have it trucked in, or, you know, because you're obviously going to recycle it. So
that, or you might have to harvest the fresh crops. They harvest in a little bit of a different way, so they just use a little bit of water, so they kind of use enough just to barely cover the vines, so they're not using that extra bit to really get everything up and out. So maybe you could do it that way, where you're still using water but just not as much. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. How about you? I don't really think about how like dairy farms use water necessarily, or I don't know. I'm not like, this is where I'm so, I don't want to say sheltered, but I don't think about other crops that are beyond my nose. So what do you know about water use in your world?
Oh my gosh, you're probably gonna hear my kids. They're literally like under the door asking if I'm done. Um, okay, I was kind of trying to think like just on our farm now, but we're so small, like we don't use a ton of water. Like we don't irrigate. Basically the only water we really use is to water the cows. Um, so I guess like in turn, we recycle that water that eventually gets made into pee that eventually goes into our manure, like
Filtration.
it comes back in like in fertilizer, I guess, for our crops. But just kind of thinking on the dairy side of things, I mean, cows drink a lot of water. They drink about a bathtub a day, which is like 30 to 50 gallons. But their milk is also 90% water. So it's, they have to drink a lot to produce that milk. And, we also use a lot of water to cool down the milk. So when the milk comes out of a cow, it's their body temperature which is usually going to be around 101.5. And when you get it into the bulk tank, you need to get it down to like 37 degrees as fast as you can, just to prevent any bacteria from growing, things like that. So it goes through a plate cooler, which is essentially like a bunch of cold water kind of running through it. And as the milk goes through, it cools it down really fast. Ours so it would come out of the cow at like 101.5, go through the plate cooler, and then it would go into the bulk tank. Oh, maybe around like 60 or 70 degrees, I think. And then the bulk tank cools it the rest of the way down. And so that uses obviously a lot of water, but that water is also very easy to recycle. It's going to be a little bit warmer when it comes out of the plate cooler, but like on the dairy, we used it to wash down our parlor. We used to use it to water cows, which I don't know if it was like approved anymore. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but like there's weird rules. There's weird rules for cows now. Let's see what else. Some farms flush their barns out. We always just scrape them with a skid loader, but some have a flush system. So it'll take that recycled water. Can you hear my kids?
A little bit.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So it'll take that water and it'll just like flush all the manure out of the barn. It can be used for irrigation. It can be used, some of our water used to go into our liquid manure pit. And then that obviously was spread out in the field as fertilizer. What else did we do? Misters are used on a farm. So, especially places that get a little bit hotter than us, they'll have misters, usually like over their feed rails, that can mist the cows, but that can all come from the plate cooler water. Gosh, I think that might be all that I can think of, but there's so many ways. I think they say on average, like a dairy farmer reuses their water 4 to 6 times.
Oh, wow.
Which was very surprising to me, but then you kind of start to think about it. It's just like when people say how sustainable farmers are, you don't really think about it until you like see the examples, and then you're like, oh yeah, we do that, like, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, dairy farmers use a lot of water, but they recycle a lot of water. So I think it's just important to remember that. There's 2 sides to every story, and we can't just be like, oh, they use all this water, like, or the posts that are like that they use this many gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk. Like, how is that sustainable? And it's like, can we look at the bigger picture here?
Yeah, you're looking at a very tiny statistic. Like, that's what makes me so frustrated. It's like people don't think about the whole picture. They're just thinking about the one thing that they see. And I think that's why it's so important to show the whole thing, especially on like social media where people are getting this information from, to show. Because again, like I literally made a video showing the harvest process and saying like, oh yeah, all the water we use gets pushed back right where it came from. And there's people commenting like, oh, you're so wasteful with water. It's like, how? Please show me how this is being wasteful. Like
I'm
I'm
you're not
showing
just
you
like spreading it out
Wait,
onto your lawn
where
afterwards
yeah, where am I wasting this? Like, do you want me to send like or they'll be like, "Oh, there's thirsty children in Africa." I'm like, yeah, there's thirsty people in America too. Like,
what are
how
you
is
gonna do? Bottle it up and just ship it over?
I'll send them some cranberry juice. Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh. Speaking
Yeah.
of, okay, this is so cool. We're almost done here. Okay, I on YouTube we watch a couple called Ambition Strikes. They are in like I don't know if they're in Utah or something. They live off grid. I don't know. Joey and I watch them every Sunday. And they got a rain or like a filtration system that it's like a giant dehumidifier and it produces clean water. So the company I don't remember what you guys can Google it. I'm sure it'll pop up. But the company has been making these and it's like that is one of their things is that they want to get it in those countries that can't produce their own water. They like can't drill wells and stuff because it's basically making water out of air. It was awesome. It was so awesome. I'm like, I mean, I'm sure they're really expensive and I don't
Yeah. It pulls like the
hopefully
humidity from the air.
Yeah, it pulls the humidity from the air and then it like gets the condensation almost like a dehumidifier would. And then I think it had like a filter system to go through it.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Right?
Almost. It's kind of like one of those, duh, why didn't you think of this sooner things?
Yeah, like it popped up and I looked at Joey, I'm like, is that like a giant dehumidifier? And I mean, kind of essentially is what it was. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, you have to be innovative on how you're going to get water, but that was kind of off topic because I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to solve the water issues in other countries.
Right.
I think essentially as farmers, we're doing the best that we can to be stewards of our land and keep it going, but we can't fix all the world's problems.
Right. And I mean, like we're living off of the land. Why is it a mission to destroy it in the process? Like that makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
No sense at all. So think about that. Share that with your friends next time they try to bash farming.
As they're watering their lawn
during a drought. Yeah.
Those celebrities.
Topic for a different day.
Yeah. Anyway. I think next week's topic is probably going to be a doozy. I'm excited for it though.
I am too. If you missed Becca's post that she made, that was very Wisconsin-y of me, post. If you missed her Instagram post that she shared today on Monday, go check that out because that's going to be our topic probably for next week. We're going to be talking about sharing your children online and our thoughts on that. So there might be a trigger warning. So if you're kind of sensitive to children issues, maybe this one won't be for you. And if that's the case, that's no problem. We'll see you the following week. So just want to throw that out there. But if you guys have opinions on it that are kind and respectful, head over to Becca's post and share that because we like seeing what you guys think about things and what your opinions are. And if they're similar or different than ours, we want to talk about it. So that'll be next week. I'm excited to have like a good conversation about it because it'll probably be a longer one. So we're breaking up your feed, giving you a short, quick one today. And
I don't think it's been that short.
As a shorter one.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's been a lot of good perspectives that have been shared with me so far. And I may have gone through my Facebook and deleted like half my friends. But that was something that needed to be done. And too, like when people get like Facebook hacked and then they change to like I don't know if that's Arabic lettering. I found a couple of those and I'm like, how are you still on my Facebook friends? So anyways, we'll talk about that more next week. But thank you guys so much for listening. If you are not following us yet on our social media platforms, you can find us at Forward Farming Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find Amber at Cranberry Chats, and I am at beccahilby. And we'd love for you to leave us a rating and review.
Nice one, please. That'd be great.
Lint lickers. All right.
Anyway,
so thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.